Hello everybody and welcome to the Football Philosophy channel, and the game kicks off in just over an hour. United away in Milan. Obviously we need to score. That's the first thing we need to do. Whatever happens, we have to score a goal tonight. If we don't score, we're out. We want to get through. We'd like to win the trophy. I'd like to win 2 trophies. We're still in the FA Cup as well, at least until Sunday. So desperate to get a result there tonight. 1-1 would take it to extra time. 1-1 is the only result that can take this game to extra time tonight. Obviously they've got an away goal, we'd have an away goal. That would take it to extra time. 1-1. Any other result and it's either a win for them or a win for us. So we need to win 2-1 or 1-0 or even a 2-2 draw and we go through on away goals. I can't see it being as high scoring as that, but obviously I'd take it if it was, and it'd be a fun game as well, obviously, if it was a 2-2 draw. So that's about the bones of it. The team's been named. There's no surprises in the team. Anybody who's watched me show, it's the team that I predicted. I think it was fairly obvious. There was a couple of little tweaks that could have been made, but it's Wamba's. Oh, actually, who's in the sticks? I forgot that bit. Is it De Gea back in? Or I think it's Henderson, isn't it? Henderson. Yeah, Henderson's in goal. Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Lindelof, and Shaw is the back 4. McTominay and Fred in midfield. Bruno at number 10, and then Mason Greenwood, Marcus Rashford, and Dan James up top, so to speak. Although the 2 wide players in a game like this should be operating more as midfield players who like to spring forward, as opposed to forwards who are prepared to track back. There's a difference between sort of being a proper midfield player who can spring forward rather than being a forward who has to track back. Sometimes I feel as though forwards tracking back don't do it with quite the same enthusiasm as midfield players who get forward, and I think Dan James performs that role absolutely brilliantly, if I'm honest. I put something on Twitter today, and I made a show about it as well. I don't know if anybody saw the show that I put up about lunchtime UK time today. A lot of people on Twitter have been saying, is Pogba on the bench, by the way? I assume he's fit, is he?
Pogba's on the bench.
Yeah, that if Pogba's fit, he has to start, and I was saying no, he doesn't. We need to make. If it's a tight game, it suits us. Hopefully one goal will do us. It wouldn't be the end of the world if we managed to get extra time out of it. Don't forget, if it goes to extra time, we can still get an away goal. So if we score once in extra time, they've got to score twice. So 1-1 would not be the end of the world. So there's a great chance that 1 goal will be a bonus for us. Obviously, it won't be a bonus for us if they score 2 or more. But 1-0 is fantastic, and 1-1 is a decent start, let's put it that way. If it gets us to extra time, at least another goal would mean that then they'd need to get 2 in extra time. So 1 goal is absolutely vital. Now, because 1 goal is absolutely vital, we need to be sure that we're solid defensively and solid in midfield, and the team's compact, and we need to stop them from scoring. That's the first main objective, stopping them from scoring. I dread to think them going 1-0 up in the first 15 minutes, like happened in Leipzig. I think we were 2-0 down in 15 minutes in a game. I know in that game we only needed a draw, a point to get through in the Champions League. A draw won't do us in this, obviously, unless it's 2-2 or in extra time we get through. But obviously in Leipzig, 0-0 would have been fine. 0-0 tonight isn't fine, but 0-0 after an hour might be fine. And then they start getting a bit nervous, and we can still get that goal that we need. So we need to make sure that we're solid at the back. We need to be compact. The team needs to be compact, and players get behind the ball properly when they've got the ball. So just very quickly, I just wanted to cover what I mentioned about Paul Pogba today. It wasn't a slight against Paul Pogba. It really wasn't. Not in any. I don't care who the creative player is. You don't necessarily have to have even 1, let alone more than 1. You don't even have to have 1 creative player in your team. If you're setting yourselves up defensively, if you're setting yourselves up not to concede, and you're going to try and nick a goal, as Luke Shaw proved in the derby the other day, you can get a goal from unusual circumstances. It could be a header by Harry Maguire. It could be a shot from outside the box by Scott McTominay. It could be a run up the field like Luke Shaw did the other day. Goals come from situations where you don't expect them to. So the thing that I put on Twitter today, I just thought to myself, everybody seems to think Paul needs to play, and a lot of people were saying we need to score goals. So I thought, well, do we score any more goals? And I thought, well, I'll have a look at this. So I looked at the last 10 games, and we've scored 13 goals in our last 10 games. Loads of people are saying that we need to up that. We need Pogba to play. So I checked the last 10 games that Pogba played, and we scored 13 goals in those 10 games as well. So I'm not saying it wouldn't work, and I'm not saying it wouldn't be a bonus if you had a player who can score a goal or make a goal. But at the same time, the onus is on the people to prove that there's evidence there. There's no evidence there to say that we'll necessarily score any more goals. We're not scoring any more. We're not missing any goals without him. Let's put it that way. At the moment, or under recent form.
Yeah. So what I was about to jump in with was Tom Whittingham from Twitter said the reason we all want Pogba starting is not for more goals. It's simply because he's far better than McTominay and Fred.
Yeah, well, that's not what everybody's saying, Tom, is it? A lot of people are saying we need the creativity. That's what I won't like to put a percentage on it, but I won't mind betting 80 to 90% of the people are just saying that there's more creativity. There's no creativity with McTominay. There's no creativity with Fred. I don't disagree with that, but my argument is you don't necessarily. We want to be solid. We want to be compact. They're both more defensive minded. Don't forget.
Yeah. They're
both more defensive minded. That's where we need to start.
Yeah.
If we can get I was going to say 0-0 draw, that's no good. If we can get a clean sheet, that's what I meant. If we can get a clean sheet tonight, we've got a great chance. It's also an easier target. A clean sheet that's why coaches come into clubs. It's what Tuchel's done at Chelsea. He's come in and made them difficult to score against, made them solid. Some games they don't nick the goal like they went to Leeds and they only drew 0-0. Luckily for them that weekend, other teams around them dropped points. West Ham lost, who are chasing the top four like Chelsea. Yeah. Everton lost, who are chasing the top four like Chelsea. So even though they only nicked a point, it was an handy point that weekend. It took them a point further clear of the teams that are in that battle with them. So it was an handy point for them, and it was a 0-0 draw. I'm sure they wanted to win at Leeds, but he started by making them solid. They hardly never let a goal in, did they?
No.
I think he's been there about 12 or 13 games, and they've let about 3 goals in.
Yeah.
So that's where you start. That's where coaches start, and it's where we need to start. We don't want a 0-0 tonight, of course we don't. But if we get a clean sheet tonight, that's what should be the mindset. So if you think Pogba's a better player because he can create things or because he's a better passer, they're not the important things. Not to start with, they're not. If we get a goal early doors, by the way, they know they've got to score. There's a good time to score in games, and there's never a bad time to score. But if we are going to get that one goal that we need, in an ideal world, we want to get it in about the 94th minute. You know what I mean? But, if we get it in the 70th minute and go 1-0 up in the 70th minute, we've got something to hang on to for 20 minutes, haven't we? If we scored in the first 5 minutes, which is what the idea is about playing more creative players, you might say, well, they've got to come out and gives us more chance of getting more goals, but goals just change games. And, of course, if you said to me, now we can score in the 5th minute, do you want to take it? Of course I want to take it. I'm just saying that it's not going to just fall like that for you. And if we can keep it as a clean sheet for an hour, I'd take that to start with as well.
Ali Iqbal says, is Pogba really that much more creative than Scotta? Kind of hit and miss performances from Paul. So he's actually been chipping in, Scott, hasn't he?
That's it. When you talk about creativity, surely it's the end result. I haven't got the stats to hand. Do you want to just have a look how many Paul's scored? I mean, people will probably talk about assists, won't they? I don't know how many assists Scott's got, but I know he's got 7 goals. But goals and assists, I mean, when people talk about creativity, they're normally talking about assists, aren't they? And being able to create chances.
Goal involvement.
But I'm sure Scott's got a decent amount, but he's probably played a lot more minutes as well. Yeah. But I can't imagine that there's a massive difference when he's got 7 goals in all competitions, hasn't he, this season? He's got his best season yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just as you were touching on that, and you're talking about the job that Tuchel's doing there. And he's solidifying it. If anyone out there appreciates what it is that Tuchel's doing now, you should also appreciate what Van Gaal was doing at United. It's the same type of process in it. It's a lot of them clean sheets, draws,
start passing the ball
around.
That's something I was going to touch on, and I forgot to touch on it in the show that I did. He's also started. Well, when I say started, he's done it right through, but he's only just started, really, hasn't he? With 2 midfield players who I'm sure a lot of United fans would probably say, well, we're not too bothered if we had them playing for us. He's got Kante, he's got Jorginho, and he's got Kovacic, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Now, although although they can all pass the ball, and Jorginho and Kovacic are well known for being good passers at the ball, they're steady players who hold the position, and they're not known for running up the pitch. I know Jorginho is it Jorginho who takes the pens? I've got that the right way around, haven't I?
Yeah.
But they're not known for scoring goals, and I don't think they're that well known for creating goals, but they're just solid, proper midfield players who stick to the role and make the team more compact and make the team more difficult to beat, and they're proper on the up. Tell you what, we're going to have a tough job staying above Chelsea. My words, we are going to have a tough job staying above. He's doing a good job, and he's got two midfield players who are doing a role in a similar manner. They're probably better players, they can pass it better, they're probably better players, but they're doing the job in a similar manner to McTominay and Fred. That's what Jorginho's doing when he plays along with Kante, and if it's not, it's Kovacic. But they don't go running all over the field, and they're not expected to make loads of chances. They just keep the game simple.
Rowan says, if nothing is happening, then Pogba has the magic in his boots to produce something out of nothing. Let's hope we don't have to rely on that.
Yeah, he said that. Let's hope we don't have to rely on it.
Yeah,
that is true. I mean, if you said to me who's got more chance of scoring a worldie tonight out of all those players, I would say Pogba. Although McTominay can hit a belter now and then, can't he? He scored a cracker against City last season, didn't he? He's hit a real good one from just outside the box recently, hasn't he? I can't remember who that was against. But I do agree, Pogba's more likely to do something like that. But like you say, you finished it off with the perfect sentence. Let's hope we don't have to rely on something like that. You do not want to be putting your faith in certain players bringing out worldy performances or worldy goals or worldy assists. It's not what you should be pinning your faith on. You need your team to play better. You need your team to create chances.
JD says he's been trying to get this read out for the last 3 videos. Can you ask about your thoughts on Hakimi at Inter? Would have loved him at United. Yeah,
I watched some of the Inter games. He's a good player. Yeah, he's rapid as well. Plays with his head up, sees a pass. Yeah, I like him.
Alex Nichols says I'd take Jorginho at United. Antherban, Ricky, thoughts on a midfield of Matic, Van der Beek and Bruno? Van der Beek back on the bench tonight, by the way.
Is he? That's good news. I'd love to see a midfield with when we talk about Bruno, obviously that's in the number 10 role. I prefer Van der Beek as a number 10. When I talk about my midfield, I prefer to talk about my two proper midfielders, the ones who are in position, like I've just spoke about Jorginho and Kante, or Kovacic and Jorginho, whichever they use. And we tend to use, in the big games, we certainly tend to use McTominay and Fred, occasionally Matic, and it was going along the lines that occasionally it was Pogba and Matic started together a couple of times, didn't they? So it's those two proper midfield players that to me are your important midfield players. And who did he ask me about? Have you lost it
Hakimi.
now? No. He asked me about I forgot. I've lost my thread there. He asked me about certain midfield players. Oh yeah. What do I see about a midfield? I wouldn't mind seeing Van der Beek and Matic at all as my two proper midfield players. But I do believe Van der Beek's best position is as a number 10. But he won't let you down playing as one of the holding midfield players. I'm sure he wouldn't.
Yeah. Suriash says, when we have to control the midfield, how can we start Fred over Matic, Pogba when we have to take the initiative?
Yeah, I don't quite agree that we have to take the initiative, so yes, I don't quite agree with that. It's easily possible that you play a cagey game, you make it difficult for them to score. If it can be 0-0 after an hour, 65 minutes, they can start getting a bit nervy. You could maybe bring on a player who you think might change the game for you. So I'm not too sure that we have to. I don't think it's the correct approach to try and take the game to them. If that's the phrase you use, I think that's what it meant anyway. I don't think we need to be on the front foot in any way, shape or form. We need it to be a cagey game. We really do.
You spoke a little bit about this when we after the City game when we got the result there, and you said had we played Matic in that game, it might not have gone the way that it ended up going.
Yeah,
it could have gone a different way.
Yeah, I'd have picked a different player. I'd have had in my opinion, a stronger team, and I'll still stand on that. It would have been. I like Matic. Matic is stronger. He passes it better. I think we've got a better team when he plays. But as soon as you change something in a team, it means that something else. Everything goes differently. Absolutely. We're getting a bit deep here. That's not football. That's fate. You could change your keeper. and it'll change. You know, if you've got a different keeper, then he might throw it to your right back instead of your left back early in the game, and then the whole thing changes.
Well, it's football. It's organic, isn't it?
It's organic. It just changes. Everything changes. So if we'd have played, if we'd have replaced Fred with Lionel Messi against City, we might have got beat.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we actually won the game. Settle for that.
Happy Cody says, Ricky, is it a case of too much icing and not enough cake?
Yes, at times for sure. Well, regularly, I think.
The majority of football fans seem raving mad for icing, don't they?
Yeah, raving mad for icing. Yeah, raving mad for it. I mean, our icing, I'd count Pogba a lot. I mean, he's been more sensible in recent games when I've watched him. But Pogba at times, Bruno definitely a lot, Marcus Rashford a lot, Greenwood a lot, but getting better. Greenwood, he's had to play at number 9, and he's having to grow up quick. I think he's playing better at number 9, I think, than what he was playing when he was playing on the wing.
Here's an interesting one from Ranville. Good evening, Ricky. This is my first time watching a live stream because it's late in my country, Sri Lanka.
Right.
My question is, what three past or current footballers would you invite for a meal?
Oh, it's a brilliant question. It's a brilliant question. Dimitar Berbatov, Roy Keane, and Zinedine Zidane. That'd be a table, wouldn't it?
I thought you might have said Mata, Bruno and Rashford and say, you two, can you start playing like him?
Yeah. Can you tell them what to do?
Reece says, Ricky, do you see us scoring more than a goal?
No, but it can happen. I didn't expect us to get 2 at City. Obviously, we had Anthony Martial against City, and he made a massive difference. We haven't got Martial tonight. I can't see us scoring 2. No, hope I'm wrong.
Josh Harper says, I'm starting to think that Maguire is one of the best centre-backs in Europe, given that there aren't many knocking around. What do you think? He's solid, decent on the ball, commanding, even though he has some flaws.
But he's definitely commanding. I've never been a massive fan of Maguire's. A lot of people will remember the first time I spoke about him. You know, and I still think he's overpriced at 80 million quid. But he's definitely come on. And the other thing you've got to say, sometimes when you speak about United, obviously amongst United fans, a lot of hypercritical. I'm often hypercritical about how we play, and I can't quite put my finger on this really. But it's not like with 12th, is it? And 35 points behind the leaders. What are we behind the leaders now? About 12 or 13 or something. And City are taking it to the cleaners, so to speak. You know, in a lot of Premier League years, we'd probably be 3, 4, 5 points behind the leaders at the minute with this points tally. Defence is pretty solid. It really is hard to put your finger on, but we must be a bit better than what a lot of people seem to think we are, even me.
I think where you come up short is when you really want to kick on a level, and you're dominating possession, you need ball playing centre halves, don't you?
Yes.
I think Harry Maguire is a defender. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a solid lad.
I don't think he's going to go and fit into City's back four or Bayern Munich's, or the way that they want to play football.
Yeah. What fascinates me is the way. I think Gareth Southgate said it, didn't he, that he wanted Maguire in his back four because of his ball playing capabilities. And I think, look, he can pass a ball, and I do see him make some, proper. When I look for passes, I look for little passes. And I saw one at the weekend where he intercepted a ball in the left back spot, and as he took it with his left foot, he was closed down from both sides, and he reversed it in field to somebody. It's a lovely piece of play. It would have been a nice piece of play by a decent midfield player. I mean, so he's got ability, but I just see one or two too many long balls that sail over the winger's head
they're
into
the ones
the
that
crowd.
drive me mad. It's not the little ones for me; it's the bad long ones. There's way too many of them. Missing the target by a country mile at times. And you can't be doing that. You've got to know your own capabilities. You've got to rein that in. If you know you're not hitting them all the time, rein it in and just knock it short.
Try and find a shorter pass.
It's not your. It's not within your capabilities.
You need to look at it. You need to look at it and see what shorter passes are on at times as well. I mean, sometimes it's worth trying that long one, but I do see him knock a few too many straight into touch.
Dylan Heng says, Ricky, what are your thoughts on Luke Shaw?
Brilliant. absolutely brilliant. I've defended him. Anybody that's watched me for a while on the United stand, obviously this channel's only been going a few months, but I've been banging on about Luke Shaw since day one, really. When I started on the United stand, Luke Shaw's a top quality player. I can just see the balance in the way he moves and his touch. And when people look, Luke Shaw, I don't know how often you've watched me. Who's asked that question? Dylan, was it?
Dylan,
yeah. When Brandon Williams first came on the scene and played a couple of games, probably 70 or 80% of the fans were going Williams at left back. And when you look on Twitter, this should be our team. 80 or 90% of them teams had Williams at left back, and I was saying no. I've only got to watch him twice.
Manchester Evening News have got 3 different possible United lineups,
and they've all got Williams at left back, and I'm saying no, you've got that wrong. It's not Williams. And then we signed Telles, and the same. I still see it now. See it now. Our team for next season should be this. Buy this player, buy that player. And it's often, well, not quite as often now, but a few weeks ago, it was Telles at left back all the time. As soon as Telles came, I only had to watch him twice, and I can go, no, he's not as good as Luke Shaw. So yeah,
that's no disservice to Telles. By the way,
it's how good Luke Shaw
not
is.
Appreciating how good this player is.
Yeah.
I think we've done that quite a lot. We have players at our club, and people look at them and think, "Oh, that's not as good as." That's not good enough for Man United. But I think sometimes they're comparing them back to players that were available 10 years ago or something.
20 years ago.
They're just not out there. So you'll find that you'll lose these players thinking that you're replacing them with a better one. And you just don't. They're not out there.
Yeah.
You've got rid of Chris Smalling, replaced him with Maguire. Have you really improved? Are you 80 million quid down?
I don't think so. I don't think there's enough difference. Because I really don't. I mean, Ashley Young's playing fine for Inter Milan. It's top of Serie A. I mean, he's just lost his place just recently to what's his lad, the left-sided player who plays for Croatia, but he's actually a winger. They play wing backs, don't they? Yeah. We've been linked with him loads of times, and he's in his 30s as well.
Yeah,
you know who I mean.
Yeah,
but. He has only just lost his place, and he's been left us 12 or 18 months now, hasn't he? And he's been playing great for Inter Milan. And we didn't need to get rid of Ashley Young, really. And to be honest, before anybody says in the comments he was this, he was that, get rid of him, he's too old. They didn't want him to go. He wanted to play. They offered when he said he wanted to go. They offered him a new contract.
Perisic.
So Perisic has just managed to dislodge Ashley Young from the Inter Milan team, but he's played a lot of games and they still bring him on as a sub a lot. But don't forget, I'm talking 18 months ago when he was playing for us. So when he was playing for us, he was still, 18 months younger, if you like.
I mean, there's an example there. If you, a lot of people will argue the age there why United have let him go, but even if you look at Wan-Bissaka versus Dalot, is there really 50 million quid of difference there?
I don't think so. We'll see Dalot again tonight. He'll probably be. Is it? Oh,
Darmian as well. I'll get it up now.
Yeah, I quite like Darmian. Darmian's a decent player.
Jaswin raises his Smalling, Herrera, Blind walk into this team, wouldn't you think?
Absolutely walk into it.
Yeah.
Is Dalot playing?
I'm going to get it up now. Yongwoo says, "Hello Ricky, I'm back again from South Korea. Do you think Son is a top player in the world? Love from South Korea."
Yeah, he's brilliant. Yeah, Son's brilliant. I think he's pulled his hamstring, hasn't he? I was watching that game the other night. Sunday afternoon, won it against Arsenal, and he pulled up with a tight hamstring, so he might be out for a few weeks, I think. But he's an absolutely brilliant player. And another thing about Son, he absolutely works his socks off, just as we were talking about Park the other day. Works his socks off, but because he scores goals and because people recognise him as a brilliant player, they rarely point out the fact that he's a working, he really works his socks off as well. That tends to happen. They don't mention things like that when you can score goals, but he's a great player, Son. He really is.
McSaw says, "Would you like to see Basuma in this team?"
Yes, yeah, I'd have Basuma, and I watch a lot of Brighton's games. I enjoy watching Brighton, and I like Basuma in a big way. Really neat and tidy. Sees the short pass all the time. That's what I love. And I would have Basuma in the team. I'd certainly have Basuma in the team in front of Fred. I would probably go if we had Basuma. Well, I like Matic as well, but Matic is obviously. See, I nearly fell into the trap then of saying he's getting on, but that's what everybody else says. He's 32/33, and he's getting on for 33. And I think is Zlatan playing tonight? By the way, Zlatan on the bench.
Yeah.
But Zlatan's 39. Now, I'm not comparing Matic to Zlatan, but he has won a couple of Premier League titles, Matic, and he is only 32, 33. I think Juan Mata's only 32. It's ridiculous in this country the way we say it's too old. It's a joke.
Phil Mann in the super chat, Keane or Vieira. As a United fan, Vieira was it for me.
He said as a United fan he preferred Vieira.
Yeah. Don't get many of those, do you?
They don't get many of those, not many of those about. No, I'd have to say Roy Keane. I would have to say Patrick Vieira was fantastic, but you don't get too many Roy Keanes to the pound, do you?
See, that was a tight one, wasn't it? Obviously, we talk about physicality a lot, size and strength.
Yeah.
Look at the quality of the player that you had there in the two opposing midfield. There you had Petit and Vieira and Scholes and Keane.
I saw somebody put a tweet up the other day saying Paul Pogba's the best midfield player that's ever played in the Premier League. Just can't be old enough to remember, I think.
Yeah, surely.
Just can't be old enough to remember. You know, different gravy, them lads.
Yeah.
Different gravy.
Cockroach 80 says, "Hey Ricky, were you disappointed at how Ighalo was treated post lockdown? To me, he looked like a proper striker who could hold the ball up and was a danger in the penalty box."
100% agree.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how little game time he got. I couldn't believe we didn't bring him on for 20 minutes or so in league games and just play him in there.
Do you know what's really... The fact that he got so few minutes is obviously, now that we can see it happening with other players, it's an insight into Ollie's ability, not into the players. And so many people will look back at Ighalo's time at United and go, didn't quite cut the mustard.
Yeah.
He was never given a chance.
Never given a chance, no.
You know, the same credit has to be given to Van der Beek. He's not getting a chance, is he?
Not getting a chance, no. In fact, if Van der Beek, I mean, there's rumours that he wants to leave, and I won't blame him for wanting to leave. If he leaves us next summer, he will have a wonderful career. Wouldn't surprise me one little bit, as some players are now that have left in the last year or so. Won't surprise me one little bit if Van der Beek's playing for a better team than us next season and playing regular.
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me one little bit. Whoever that, don't mean a bigger club necessarily. I mean a better team.
Jaswin, Rick, does Fred get into any other top 17?
No, not for me. Not for me.
We need a work rate with a player who can pass it like Basuma.
Yeah, I'd have Basuma over him every day of the week. I do like a right footer and a left footer, but not enough to sort of say I'd take Fred over Basuma. Like Basuma's right-sided, and so's McTominay, but Matic is left-sided.
Yeah. It's funny that you don't seem to see that desire in teams to get that balance. You know, when you've got an open checkbook and you can pick players up from anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Why don't you go right foot, left foot, right foot, right foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot. You know what I mean? You get a perfect balance.
Yeah.
JD, Rick, how do you envisage Greenwood's long-term future? I don't see him having the physicality of a 9.
I think he can make a reasonable number 9. I'm not sure he's going to be the number 9 that would be good enough to play regularly for a team. Well, as big as Manchester United, if you like. I think he looks a decent player. I agree, he doesn't seem to have the physicality yet. He can improve on that. I hope he proves me wrong. I want all United players to be absolutely top draw. And I can, what I see in mate, obviously he's got a fantastic left foot. He can shoot from all angles. That's something he needs to stop doing. No, he's shooting. He has cut it out a little bit just recently. Maybe he's just growing into it as he goes along. But I've certainly seen him too often trying to take shots on when he should be passing it or crossing it. I've seen Cavani throwing his arms in the air. I don't know what's going on with Cavani, by the way. It was said in the evening news that Ollie said I can't remember it word for word now, but it basically said he just didn't want to travel. That's basically what Ollie has said. Right. So whether they probably changed that tune now and said that his injuries flared up, I won't be surprised. Yeah. But that was in quotation. Whatever the phrase was, I'm not quoting the phrase. Whatever the phrase was, it was in quotation marks in the evening news, and basically said, he didn't really want to travel, or he didn't fancy travelling. So I put up, what do you mean he didn't fancy travelling? I put on Twitter, do you know what I mean? But I've seen him throwing his arms in the air a few times when Greenwood's had a chance to put it in the box and hasn't, and when Rashford's had a chance to put it in the box and hasn't. It wouldn't surprise me one little bit if he's at loggerheads with the coaching staff or something. It wouldn't surprise me one little bit.
Well, you saw it in the games that he has had for him. You've seen him constantly just escalating towards the bench.
Yeah, like that. Turning around, what's
time.
going on here?
He's not really used to it.
No. So,
he's used to getting the ball past
they're only human beings. People get too carried away with their heroes and people that are playing at such a level. You know, I've played football at a reasonable level, nothing like Premier League level, nowhere near, not even professional, but decent footballers, lads who have played a lot of football. And I've been around players who have said to managers, you know, he won't put a ball in. You know, I'm in the space, you know, get the ball in. And there, it's never coming in.
Yeah.
Get it sorted out, and they're only human beings. I bet you that's going on behind the scenes.
Well, what's interesting is that we've for a while now we've not really had them types of people. We've always had a squad of like really quiet, young, timid type kids, haven't we? It's not a lot of blokes in the changing
serious
rooms,
lads like
men in the changing
Cavani,
rooms.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Playing around, dancing, and doing handshakes rather than talking about how to play the game and what are you doing. Is
not lads that you'd call proper lads.
No, I wouldn't call them proper lads. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. But Cavani smacks me as the type of person that probably is.
We've got a few. Matic.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen a couple of things going on with Bruno. I saw Bruno complaining to Matic at Goodison Park in the League Cup tie, and you know, Matic pushed him away. I'm sure Matic probably said to him something like, "Sort your own game out. You're the one who's giving it away more." Do you know what I mean? I've seen something else as well with him. Who else did he have a bit of a?
I don't think lack of assertiveness is something that I'd level at Bruno though necessarily. He's
no.
just not understanding what his role is, in my opinion. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But obviously, then if you are assertive as well as not really understanding the game, then quite often your assertiveness will be misdirected.
Yeah.
Which can be problematic, obviously. Alex Nichols says Cavani's supposedly a top guy off the pitch. He says.
It won't surprise me.
Yeah, Suya Shetty says, you wonder what Rashford is being told.
Yes.
You know, why doesn't he pass to a more open player? Or are they not going through it with him, like on these video analysis and showing? Can you stop doing that?
Suyash might be talking about the clips that I put up on when I was comparing on the Player in Focus. I compared Dan James's performance to Marcus Rashford's performance against West Ham, and there's two separate clips on there where Rashford runs into trouble, where he's got Luke Shaw free to his left, and I don't know if you've seen those clips, but it really is astonishing at that level of football. I've just spoken about, you know, me running Sunday League teams and playing in Sunday League teams, and I'm deadly serious. People might say surely not, but I'm deadly serious. You'd be getting told off at Sunday League level. Give that ball out to that left. He's in so much space, and you're running into trouble with it. You won't get away with it. You'd be told.
Yeah.
You know. So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I think sometimes people kind of
they don't
group all amateur football together, don't they? And think it's all just the dog and duck type of stuff. People seem to not understand or appreciate that there's some top quality of amateur football, a semi-professional footballer. The football is. You know, it's
played with loads of ex-pros, and loads of ex-pros don't come playing football, and I mean serious pros who've played for good teams, and quite a few of them played Sunday League football at the best level of Sunday League football just to keep playing once they'd finished, and they're not going to go there if they're not enjoying it. They're not going to keep getting out of bed on a Sunday morning to play football if they're not enjoying it.
Yeah. Scholes not long after retiring. He was sitting out for Haywood one day on a Saturday afternoon.
I don't think he played regular, but he didn't play.
A couple of games.
I played with loads of ex-pros and played against loads of it, loads, and you know, it's good. It's a decent level of football.
Nikoski says Lampard or Scholes.
Oh, you'd have to go Paul Scholes, but don't disrespect Frank Lampard though. Fantastic footballer. You know, we just spoke about Vieira and Keane playing against each other. Some of the players that were around in that. I'm sure there are great players around. Now I've got fond memories of that era though. You know, we were the top dog, weren't we? And we played against top players as well. And Frank Lampard was a truly brilliant, wonderful footballer. I can't speak too highly of him, but that just shows you how good Paul Scholes was.
McSaw says, following on from my Basuma question, if you were director of football or Ole, would you be looking for a CDM stroke centre midfielder as a priority next season and as a key point to compete with teams like City?
Right, this is a little bit deep, this, because we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and we don't know if there's any truth. Because I hear, you don't need to go in the comments and say he's finished, he's 32, he's 33. I'm talking about Matic now. You don't need to do that. I don't know if he's fit enough to play every game. I don't know if they're having discussions behind the scenes whether Matic is saying, I'm tired, I don't need to play every week. I don't know those things. If Matic himself, who's a top professional, if I was United's manager tomorrow, I would say to Matic, you're a top professional, are you fit to play every week? Do you think you can play another full season or two without being rested every week, or without playing at least every weekend and maybe every other midweek? Can you play 3 games a fortnight? If you tell me you're fit to play 3 games a fortnight and you don't need to be rested, then I don't think, as the Benfica man, is it the Benfica manager who said it recently? You'll go a long way to find a better. When he plays, I see people saying he's not playing well. He still plays well. So no, the answer is we do not need another central defensive midfield player if Matic is fit to play. Now, anybody who wants to comment on it, you're only seeing the same footage that I'm seeing, so you don't need to tell me that he's finished. You don't need to tell me that he's too slow. I'm telling you that he isn't too slow. He's perfectly fine. He gets hold of the ball. He holds it for the right length of time. He passes it at the right moment. And if he does need holding a few touches, he holds it a few touches because there's nothing on. He's waiting for the right moment. He's still a top player. If he's fit to play 3 games a fortnight, we don't need another CDM. I don't know the answer to the question, no, and neither does anybody else who's going to respond to this question. Behind the scenes, they might know. So if I was at Old Trafford tomorrow, I'd be asking Matic that, because if he's fit to play, when I watch him play, he's still as good as any CDM in the league, and he'll do for me.
Yeah. That question needs asking of more than Matic, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because we're throwing.
Don't just throw money away.
Yeah.
If he's good enough for another 2 seasons to give you 3 games a fortnight, Garner might develop in that time and be good enough, or somebody else might come through, or one of your scouts. You've obviously got scouting networks all over the world. You might pick somebody up for £4 million who does the job for you. Yeah. Get what you can out of these experienced players. I've just mentioned Ashley Young. Got rid of him too early. Yeah. Lots of players. Don't get rid of them just because they're 32 or 33. That doesn't happen on the continent as it happens here.
No.
Because you're just throwing good money after bad.
We're replacing them with perhaps younger players who aren't doing any better.
Yeah, they're doing no better. Yeah.
And then they're going off to pastures greener and actually doing well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's madness.
It's madness.
How are we doing for time?
1:30.
It's an 8 o'clock kick-off, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
One more, 2 at the most.
Alex Nunes says, hello Ricky, I know you don't really rate Ollie as our manager. Who would you rather be our manager?
Me. I'd absolutely bite their hand off. I'd sort them out. I won't take no nonsense.
It's John Joe Kerwin. Ricky, can you talk us through your strike partnership with Billy when you were a player? Who was the marshal?
Who said that?
John Joe Kerwin.
John Joe Kerwin. How does he know I was a strike partner with Billy? Is someone who knows? Take it he's talking about Billy Ducks. I can't believe that question. I was a strike partner for Billy Ducks at Willenshire Amateurs in the Manchester League, and as tall as I was, I think I've shrunk a little bit in my old age. I was about 6'2", but Billy was taller than me, probably 6'3", 6'4", and he was absolutely fantastic in the air, Billy. And I used to run my socks off all week. I used to run 4 miles every day, and I could run even though I was 6'2". I was fast, and I was fit as a fiddle. And I used to play in like a number 10 role, and I used to drop in to help out in midfield. As soon as we won the ball, I was up supporting Billy. If it got not long to Billy, I'd be there for the layoff or for the flick on or whatever it might be. And it worked brilliant for a season or 2, and I loved it playing with Billy. God rest his soul.
Adam Farmy in the super chat. We need a plan and a purpose. If you want a defensive midfielder, you can't get better and smarter than Matic. You need to figure out how you want to play and then choose a player based on their attributes.
Yeah, just say that last bit again. You need to what? Yeah.
You need to figure out how you want to play
Yeah.
and then choose a player based on their attributes.
Correct. Yeah.
There's no point just buying random players.
Yeah, and thinking he's a good player, so we want him.
And a lot of it will be informed by goals and assists. We want one of them, one of them, and one of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Figure out your system first,
Yeah.
and then find the pieces that fit in the system.
Exactly, Adam. Exactly.
Bang on. James Devlin, Celtic or Rangers, Ricky?
Oh, I'm not getting involved in all that. Too political.
Too
political. Both great clubs.
Yeah.
Both absolutely fantastic clubs.
Loazi Nkosia, would you take Sergio Busquets?
Well, I would. How old is Busquets now?
I bet he won't be. He'll be close to Matic, I bet.
Yeah, I bet he's about Matic's age, isn't he? But I don't think also would. He's a great player. I think we better knock it on the head, don't we? One more then, go on if you read him.
Hello Ricky, do you think we should sell Fred? I think we should. He can't pass the only thing he's good at, which is running around.
I've just spoke about Matic. If Matic is fit to play, it's a disgrace that he's not playing. Like I say, we're not behind the scenes. We don't know what's being said. We don't know if Matic is saying, look, I'm not really ready, boss, to play 2 games a week. They have only just given him a new contract. His contract runs to the end of next season, doesn't it? I'm assuming he is fit to play and they're just not selecting him. And if he's fit to play and they're not selecting him, they don't know what they're doing. Simple as that.
Last one, Casimo Di Medici. Ricky, would you take Poc over Ollie?
Yes.
That's the end
Is that it? Thanks for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed the show. If you have enjoyed it, please subscribe. Please tell all your friends. You know the Bobby Moore by now. If you didn't enjoy it, don't tell anybody. Keep